let's talk about my top 5 favorite comedies from 2014 because this year was a pretty good year when it comes to comedies. At number 5, Let's Be Cops. Now, this was a movie that completely surprised me. It came out of nowhere. I remember getting tickets for a screening to this, and I thought, what's this movie? I had no idea. But I was pleasantly surprised. I liked the chemistry between the two actors, Jake Johnson and Damon Wayans Jr. And I even liked the setup, the premise on how they went to this costume party. It was actually a masquerade party. But yet they go there with cop uniforms on, looking like idiots. And then having the costumes on, they're walking the streets, and they're getting all of this crazy attention, different attention from people, from women. So they get wrapped up into it, and they just start pretending to be cops. And that I sort of liked, and I got with, and I said, of course they would be, because they're losers in real life. But once they started to find out how much trouble they could get into, how they could be fined all this money or even put in prison, I'm like, okay guys, from this point on, any time that you put the uniforms on still is insane. And then the end of the movie took almost a dark turn of showing how much it isn't all that fun to be a cop and how crazy it could be. Now at number 4, Horrible Bosses 2. And this is the movie where I'm not sure how much we needed a sequel to Horrible Bosses, because I loved Horrible Bosses 1. It was hilarious. It was another movie that sort of just came in and made me laugh all the way through. But you question, especially with comedies, on if a sequel's needed, what more can be done with it, is it going to feel forced? But no, this movie, again, kept me laughing all the way through. There's something about the chemistry between these three actors, Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, and Jason Sudeikis. I think they all balance each other out, and I think they all each have their own likable qualities, funny qualities that just really come together well. You have Chris Pine, who is so great as being not only a douchebag, but funny in his own right, and you have some of the same characters from the first movie, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Aniston, who, there's something about Jennifer Aniston being a total and utter slut that just makes me like her that much more. At number 3, Neighbors. Neighbors was awesome. I really enjoyed Neighbors. You had Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne as a couple who just had a newborn baby, and I really like them as a couple. They work well together. Rose Byrne, I love that she's willing to put herself into a rated R raunchy comedy like this, put herself out there. And then you had Zac Efron, who, when I think of Zac Efron, my first thought is, oh yeah, that guy from High School Musical. I've never seen High School Musical, never cared to see it, and when I see him, I just sort of get that douchebag type opinion about him, which maybe isn't warranted. You see him in this movie though, he's great, he's hilarious. He really surprised me here, where he was this crazy guy obsessed with this fraternity, and he didn't really know what he was going to do in life, but I liked his friendship with Dave Franco, and just everything that went on with that, how they were throwing these crazy parties, keeping up the couple with their baby, and that started a whole war in and of itself. Great stuff in here. At number 2, this is a film that I'm honestly surprised to only put at number 2, because for the longest time, for months and months, it was my favorite of the year. I'm talking about 22 Jump Street. That first film shouldn't have been as good as it was. Not only was it something that was a reboot to 21 Jump Street, that TV show with Johnny Depp, but it just, nobody expected it to be as good as it was. You had Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. How should that work? But yeah, it worked. They were funny. You get to the second film, and I thought they were even funnier, especially how Jonah Hill is basically the woman in the relationship, and he's feeling all upset, sensitive. Channing Tatum is the big, jockey, good-looking guy who's really dumb. I mean, he is. At least his character is. I like that he pokes fun at himself. And I remember my friend and I went to the screening for this. And there was 2 scenes in particular. I'm not going to mention them, just in case. Who knows? But they both involved Ice Cube, oddly enough. And my friend and I, we both said we've never heard a movie theater so loud, filled with laughter during a movie. It was insane. These 2 scenes, everybody just uproared in laughter, and we were laughing, and it was, the laughs were so long, so sustained, that we couldn't even hear the dialogue for the next couple of minutes. It's one of those experiences that you don't have too often in comedies nowadays, so I will always remember that. Great, great stuff. But somehow that wasn't my favorite of all year. My number 1 favorite comedy of 2014, I just saw this film, and everything that goes into the backstory of this movie and how it almost didn't get released. The Interview. And I've already seen some reviews of people saying that they didn't think it was all that good, or that they thought it was absolute shit. Whatever. I think it's one of those opinions where you either like this brand of comedy or you don't. Evan Goldberg, Seth Rogen, they write their films, they even directed this movie, and they have a certain sense of humor, a certain brand of comedy. And if you're not with that, you're not going to be with that. Why even bother? But I could see why anybody would want to watch this film, because how it almost didn't see the light of day. How Kim Jong-un in North Korea lost their shit and were so pissed off that they almost threatened war on us for this movie, which is funny because that's kind of how he's presented in the film. Go figure. But when I watched it, I thought it was hilarious all the way through. James Franco was so comical. This might be his funniest role, or at least everything he put into this character. He went all out for it. I love this film. I loved everything about it. I loved that Sony finally grew some balls and decided to release the film, because I was very upset over the idea that this movie wasn't going to be seen. Again, whether it was good or not, we deserved to have seen it. And I could not believe all that controversy that went on with this. They went for it. And I respect the movie so much more for that. So guys, that's my top 5 favorite comedies of 2014. Let me know in the comments below what were some of your favorite comedy films from this past year. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!